Hey everyone, Light487 here in widescreen. Today I'll be starting a series of reviews, reviewing some juices that I've received from vapebar.com.au. I've received these free of charge for the purposes of review so that I can give my honest opinion about this new flavour range that Vapebar is currently stocking. They basically have become the exclusive reseller or supplier, local supplier in Australia for VixenVapors.com e-liquid range of flavours. So basically they are a double flavour with zero nicotine. And that means that you'll need to get your nicotine separately because it is illegal to sell the actual nicotine liquid in Australia at this time. Maybe that'll change in the future, but at this time you cannot do it. So what we do is we get the flavors locally, mix them 50-50 with some cheap nicotine juice that we've bought in bulk. And then we can make it. The other good thing about getting your own, it's not just about that. I prefer to get doublers because then I can sort of add a little bit more flavour or a little bit less flavour depending on the actual flavour. So it actually works out better anyway. So they're as I say, they're doublers. And they also come in a different than normal sort of mix of PG VG. In these ones, they're coming in at 60% propylene glycol or PG and 40% vegetable glycerine or VG. What this means is if you then use, which is the most common nicotine juice, which is the PG based nicotine, by mixing it 50-50, you end up with an 80% PG, 40% VG, 80% VG, 20% VG mixture, which is, according to many people, that's sort of the optimal mixture ratio. But again, that's a subjective thing, and it's not that it's not that important really. More PG gives you more throat hit, more VG gives you more vapor, but in the end, it doesn't really matter that much to a certain extent. Anyway, they've just released this line of juices at Vapebar. Currently there's 10 possible flavours, and over the next week or so, I'm just reading the email here. Over the next month, there'll be a further 10 added, flavours added. Anyway, So what I'm going to do, what I was going to do is sort of record little segments and then join them all together and then have this big long video and da-da-da-da. But I really want to give each flavour a good review rather than just little tiny reviews. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the first one, upload that, and then as I go through them, I'm going to upload the separate videos for each individual flavour, and then that way, there's no sort of pressure to sort of get through them just for the sake of reviewing them, and I can give them a really good go and a really good review each time. Anyway, the first one that I'm reviewing today is the honey tobacco flavour. Now, when I put this in, like the smell, really good. As soon as I vape it, really beautiful, really, really nice, unique flavour. And this is what I've got left. I received a 5ml sampler for the review, and this is the mixed amount left. So there's nothing left in the 5ml sort of concentrate bottle, and so in 2 or 3 days I've gone through the lot. I'm vaping it through on a 1.5 ohm dual coil cartomizer, which I've also got from Vapebar, but bought those myself. But and it's really, really nice. Love it. Anyway, it's basically you've got the honey sort of flavour, which is a fairly generic sort of honey flavour. I mean, if you know honeys, then obviously there's like probably just as many honey flavors as there are e-liquid flavors. But this is a fairly generic sort of light honey flavor, the standard sort of honey flavor. Nothing really special about that, but rather than it just tasting like sugar, it does definitely taste like honey. The tobacco, you basically got different types of tobacco as well, funnily enough. But I mean, you can sort of rate them based on how dark they are. Just like with coffee, you know, you've got the dark, really bitter, burnt sort of taste coffee at the darker end, and then you've got the light, weaker, sort of less bitter, sort of at the light end of the coffee range. It's exactly the same with tobacco flavors. You've got the really dark ones and you've got the really light ones. And they're still strong in flavor, whether they're light or dark, but it's obviously just the dynamic of the flavor. And so with this one, I'd give it around about the 2 out of 5 sort of for darkness. This is how it vapes visually. I mean, I know that's not much, but just also to remind myself of the flavor. Yeah, so like I say, you can taste the honey, you can taste the tobacco there, and as I say, I really enjoyed it, and I was like vaping away at work, and suddenly there were all these people like nearby in the office, and they're all saying, "Oh, what's that smell? It smells like, you know, like fertilizer or cat urine or something." It was really not a very pleasant smell, a very pungent odor. And I realized that when I sort of smell the juice, it does have that kind of quality. And if you didn't know what it was, you would probably think, yeah, it's like, tastes like fertilizer or cat urine, you know. And I thought, oh, well, that means, you know, that, you know, this one actually has a really pungent odor. And so that's a bit of a negative when you think about it. You know, like most of the time when you're vaping, there's no smell, you know, or if there is, it's very light. It's almost like an incense rather than anything else. And people don't really notice, they don't really care, because even if they do smell, it's a sort of a pleasant smell anyway. But in this particular case, I think it's because of the honey. I have sort of read up about other honey flavors having that sort of fertilizer, sort of urine sort of smell. I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is, I suppose. So it sort of makes it a bad flavor because of the smell that it produces. But when I'm outside, no problem, because obviously the smell's getting blown away. When I'm at home, I don't care either. But obviously when I'm at work, I can't use this flavor, and that's a real shame, because it really is a very nice flavor, and it doesn't taste like fertilizer. It doesn't taste like cat urine. it just smells like it when you blow it out, and so, you know, yeah. So that is a big warning there to anyone who does have it. Great flavor, just don't smoke. Just don't vape it in an enclosed space near people, because they're going to go, oh, what's that? Oh, it's really gross, you know. That's the problem. Other than that, though, I'd give it like it's one of my favorite flavors, like 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 as a flavor. Really great, but certainly, yeah, that is a consideration with the odor. But yeah. Other than that, great flavor. Anyway, this one is obviously a longer video because I have to explain the new range and all that kind of stuff. The next video shouldn't be that long, you know, maybe 5 minutes each or something like that. But, you know, might be a few days before I get to the next flavor and so on and so forth. But anyway, the next video shouldn't be too far away. About, as I say, I've almost finished this one. So I'm going to be moving on to the next flavor soon and post a review about that one. Anyway, thanks for watching.